Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tami Patzer.
Hi, this is Tami Patzer, and I'd like to introduce you to Shequita Lee. Shequita is a travel geek. Think about this. As a travel geek, Shequita can inspire you to get unstuck, step out of the box, and move forward. She's an author, speaker, and entrepreneur, and she coaches authors, writers, and bloggers to get more social media savvy. Welcome, Shequita.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to talk to you. So, Shequita, tell me a little bit more about the people you help.
I started out helping fairly new small business owners do a little bit more on social media, but I started finding myself helping more so aspiring authors and bloggers and writers get their work out there more. They all have a blog, but it's like, okay, what do I do next? So I started helping business owners, and then I went to more so writing authors and bloggers.
So you focus on helping the authors and bloggers with what getting out there. What exactly do you do for them with the social media?
What I do for them is give them ideas of where they can share their work to get more eyes on it. So it can be Twitter, it could be Facebook, and just different ideas as far as Instagram is concerned, because Instagram is more pictures. So I give them other avenues to share their work, to think about sharing their work in other places that they may not have thought about besides their blog and people that they know that come to their blog. So opening up another window for them, so to speak.
So what do you think seems to be an author and blogger's biggest social media marketing problem?
That they're too closed off. Too closed off.
So when you say too closed off, you mean they're too focused on their one particular topic and they're not seeing the bigger picture?
That is exactly what I'm talking about. They are so focused on one thing in particular, which is their blog or their website, which is fine. But one of the things that you want is for other people to look at your work, and maybe people that are not even in the U.S. or in your backyard, so to speak, can see your work, and you can get other people interested and maybe make some connections and maybe fly somewhere. If not, maybe do some type of interviews, but possibly get your work in magazines or other books or a movie. That's the big picture, a movie.
Wow. So tell me a little bit more about that, because obviously, we know social media, so Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. Tell me more about how an author might get involved with movies.
Well, if their work is that good that they've gotten eyes on them from, say, the producers or what have you, that's going to pique somebody's interest, and they're going to say, well, I like this story. But even if it doesn't come to like the bigger picture of, say, Paramount or somebody like that, they can look at doing their own movie. It may not be as big as Paramount, but they can look at doing their own movie and then maybe somebody picking it up from there. But they at least need to dream big. That's what we're all told. That's what we all do anyway, but dream big. But it gives them the option that there's something else besides what I'm doing. And then as well, just doing periscopes, kind of letting people see who you are. So live streaming, showing your face, letting people see who you are so that they can see you and get a feel for who you are besides by what you write.
Tell us a little bit about Periscope. It's interesting that you bring that up, because the other day I was talking with someone and they said, I really want to be on Periscope. So they showed me their phone and they're clicking on Periscope, but I didn't see any place. She kept saying, I don't know how to actually start making periscopes. Could you maybe give us a couple steps on how would you go about opening up a periscope, and maybe even tell people what periscope is, because it's possible that some people don't know what it is?
Yeah. What Periscope is a live streaming app, and you can only use it through your phone. So it can be your iPhone or your Android-based phone, your Windows-based phone. It doesn't matter, just your cell phone that has a camera on it. So it can't be a flip phone. We got to come up to the new times. So it can't be a flip phone. But you can also use Periscope on an iPad as well, because that is a Apple maker as well. So what it is a live streaming app, and it gives you the ability to talk to people globally. They see you. You don't see them, but you do see the comments that they make and the hearts that they may tap on the screen to give you meaning. They like what you're talking about. So if you were to create a Periscope account, you would need to go to your Apple Store or your Play Store, download the app that says Periscope. You need to create a handle that you want. Like if you are a writer, you can say Shequita Writes or whatever handle that you want to use. And most people connect it to their Twitter account so that everything that they share on Periscope as far as the video, people on your Twitter feed can go back and watch it if they want. So from there, you need to create a title. And then once you create your title, you hit the Go Live button, and you just start talking. Now, one of the things you'll need to do is you'll need to build a following, and you'll need to follow some people. And most times, if you follow someone, they'll look at your bio, and you definitely need to have your bio filled out as well to see what it is that you do, and they'll decide whether they want to follow you or not. But once you hit that Go Live button, it'll send out an alert to everybody who follows you that you are now live, and they can go and watch you on the video. Now, if they don't catch you, they can watch your replay, which is on there forever or until you delete it. But you just go out there and you just start talking about whatever it is, if you have a business or whatever it is that you want to share. But your first Periscope should be an introduction to let people know who you are. So besides what's in your bio, talk to them and tell them who you are. You could say, this is my first Periscope. You know, I don't know too much of what I'm doing, so please bear with me. And then from there, you just keep learning and just keep getting better. But it's awesome. I've been on Periscope for over a year now. I watched a little bit before I did my first Periscope, but I did fumble, as most people do, until you figure out, until you get, just like riding a bike. You get back on it till you get good, and then you start rolling with it. So it's really good.
Yes?
No, I was saying it's really good. It's not a bad thing. It's totally awesome.
Well, I like the idea of using a tablet or an iPad, because obviously it's larger than a phone, because it is something that I've heard many people have actually grown massive businesses using Periscope, or now they have Facebook Live, if you're someone who wants to use Facebook Live. And Blab was popular, but I heard that Blab may be going away. And these all came out within, Blab and Periscope and Meerkat were probably all within the last year. And isn't Periscope now owned by Twitter?
Yes.
So would you, in your consultations with these authors, and you're having, say, your preliminary conversations, how would that conversation go? What are you looking for with authors when you're trying to figure out where are they in this process of communicating beyond their blog?
How open they are to learning it and doing it. Because it would be a waste of time for me if we sat down for a consultation and you're really not open to it. then it's like you're not really going to be doing it. So if you're not open to it, then you're not going to do it. So I want somebody that's going to be open to learning more about social media. I don't expect everybody to do everything. We can definitely start out with one thing or two, but you definitely have to be open. You want to learn about it, and you want to grow, because that's essentially what it's going to do for you, to help you grow your audience, to grow your market, and possibly grow your business. So they have to be open to learning it, open to wanting to grow, and just, try it. It's not going to hurt anything if you try it, so you definitely have to try it. But one of the things I do ask is if they have any social media, if they use any social media. And you will find a lot of people that have Twitter pages, but the Twitter page is connected through their blog, so they don't actually go on to Twitter and talk to anyone if they've liked something or retweeted something. So it's just there, but it's just being shared through the blog post. And people have like their personal Facebook, but they don't have like a fan page, and they'll share their blogs on their Facebook page as well, but not interact. And that's one of the things that you have to do when you have a social media account, is interact with people.
So interaction and engagement is one of the primary things that people should understand, obviously, because it's called social media.
Exactly.
What would you say are the three biggest problems or that authors are up against? I know that, sometimes authors, they might be introverts as opposed to being extroverted personalities. What would you, if you were going to say, I'm going to give you three ways to start, what would those three things be?
Well, one would be if they don't have a social media outlet, let's figure out which one you're comfortable with doing. So if it's Twitter, and most will choose Twitter first. If it's Twitter and you already share your blog on your Twitter page, if you have a Twitter account, then from there, later on that day or when you get time, go on to Twitter, say good afternoon. I give them small, simple, easy things to do, and honestly, Twitter is one that they jump to the most, the easiest, the quickest. So I would say go to Twitter. I'll ask if they're comfortable with videos, and if they are, then the next choice would be let's do a Facebook Live or let's do a Periscope. And they'll choose the Facebook Live because they may have a built-in audience with their personal page if they don't have a fan page, and just go on there and interact. And I'll always tell people, if you're going to do a video, you don't have to be up there for 5 hours, an hour. You don't have to be up there for a long length of time. Just do it, and so you can say that you've done it, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, 15 at the most. Do it, and then try doing it every day. But that would be two of the things that I would say. And I won't push too much because there will be apprehension. But those are some of the things that I definitely mention to them. A lot of people will kind of steer clear of Periscope first, but they'll do Facebook Live because they have a built-in audience, which is understandable because you have to build it with Periscope.
Oh, I see. But consistency, I think the key word that you said was try to do something every day. I know I actually traveled across the country last year, and I fully intended on doing Periscopes as I traveled across the country, and I was by myself, and so, of course, I didn't because I was so busy trying to get where I was going. And it was just one of those things. So you also have to have the right mindset to do this and have, I think, a goal in mind. So tell me a little bit more. You're also an author, and you've been in some different books. Can you tell me the books that you've recently been part of?
The first one is an anthology, and it's over 105 women. And it's called Chocolate and Diamonds for the Woman's Soul. So in that book, that was my first actual published work because I've been blogging for a long time, but nothing on the scale of a book. So with that book, I had a chapter in it, and it's titled I'm Blessed. And I just talk about going through a bad motor vehicle accident and the effect that it had on me, and just coming through that to be a better person and just, revamp on everything in my life. And then the next book that is actually on pre-order, it's called Empowered Women of Social Media. And that is all about my love, which is social media. And I just share some things that I did to jumpstart my business and how I use social media to grow my team and just everything that I did to start myself off on social media and what worked for me and what didn't work. And I also talk about how networking played a big part of it too. So those are the two books. The next book that I have out is just genuinely going to be about social media and just other tips and tricks that I've learned, more so implement in Periscope and Facebook Live now.
I think that you're right on target with using video with social media, because people do really like to interact, and Periscope and Facebook Live, they give you that opportunity so that people can really get to know you very, very quickly. So with the authors and the bloggers that you work with, so you help them set up their social media and get going. Typically, with an author, are you finding that they're trying to actually sell books, or are they trying to use their books and their social media presence to create something bigger, make more impact, or to grow their business or become speakers, or are they just trying to sell more books?
They do all of them, to be honest with you. I think when you get on social media and you start talking about the book, you're piquing someone's interest, so they're going to be interested and want to find out more about that book. So they're going to go to your website and look to buy that book from you and read it so that they can get a good understanding for who you are. And that's just the nature of who we are as human beings. We want to know a little bit more about the person that we see or have heard about, so we're going to do a little bit of research. So it is them selling their books, it is them building their business, and it is them getting out there a little bit more. But sometimes what authors do is they kind of get a feel and kind of do polls for what people may be looking for from them, or in a type of book, a genre that they're thinking about writing about. So they get ideas, and that kind of gets their creative juices going so that they can create another book. So they use it for everything.
That's a really good idea. What do you think is the main reason why authors might not want to get involved with social media?
They would think that it's a waste of time and that it takes too much time. So they think, okay, this will probably go nowhere. So they've already defeated themselves before they even give themselves a chance. And then they think, oh my gosh, I got to be on Twitter, Facebook, Periscope all day long. So you actually don't. You can actually schedule any work, or if you want to do a poll, you can put the poll in and just come back a day later and look at your stats. So you don't have to be on social media 24/7. You could schedule any post that you want, just get a scheduling system. And there's so many free ones out there that you don't have to waste any money paying for it unless you really choose to. But that's like two of the biggest things. They think it's a waste of time. And then they think, oh, my God, it's going to take too much time. I don't have all day. So those are the two top things that I hear about the most.
So speaking of that, thinking about it in terms of what should an author do for themselves and what should they delegate?
I think you would need a virtual assistant. Maybe if you're going to, say, schedule any type of interviews for yourself, you may or may not need a virtual assistant. You can get a scheduling system, depending on how much your virtual assistant is going to cost you. But things like sending your work out to be edited, going back and forth with the editor, simple tasks you can definitely give to a virtual assistant to help you with. Responded to emails as well. You can have a virtual assistant for that. People inquiring about the book, where they can purchase it at, those type of things you can give to a virtual assistant. But usually a lot of writers are very hands-on, but you can even use a virtual assistant for your response on, say, Twitter, so to speak. So say someone said, oh, my gosh, I love your article, or I love your blog, I love your work. When's the next time you have something coming out? Then you can have your virtual assistant just respond and say, the next book will be this, that, and the other, or I have a date plan, and they can just put the response in there for you. But you don't want to do anything on autoresponder because it seems very personable, and people don't really take to that too tough. So it's various things, but I wouldn't use a virtual assistant for every single thing. You still want to be personal.
So basically, use the virtual assistant to do things that are repetitive or that don't require your personal attention, because obviously questions like, what books are coming out and everything are things that you can predetermine and answer, and then the virtual assistant can pull from a Q&A base or something, which would be interesting. Right. So you really like Twitter a lot. Here's a question, and this is a take on the creative people, not necessarily authors, but I actually get a lot of questions from artists, creative artists, and they're asking the same questions, like, how do I get more people to look at my art? Because, art is something that's very, very personal. So if you had an artist who was coming to you, again, it's a creative person, but we're talking about art like painters, what would you say to them about the use of Twitter and Periscope and Facebook Live? Would you think that would be a good method for them to get more people to know about their art?
Definitely. One of the things that I would suggest that they do is take a picture of your artwork. Pictures speak volumes, and more than words sometimes when it comes to wanting people to get to take a look at your work. But if you do put it out there, just make sure that you watermark it so that if anyone tries to take it and print it out or whatever, you have your brand name, symbol name, or business name on there. It'll be branded, so to speak. But ask simple questions like, what do you think of this? Just ask the questions. Thinking about doing a show, in a warehouse with this, that, and the other. Just a variety of questions that you can ask people. And it doesn't have to be directed at anyone on Twitter. You could just pose the question, because Twitter is only 140 characters. So you could pose the question, I'm thinking about putting this out for sale or at the next art show coming up. Give me your thoughts. And I guarantee you'll have some people that will respond to it. People are very active on Twitter, so if you ask the question, it's going to be answered. So that's just a quick way for you to get an answer to the question. Just really, or an answer about putting your work out there. Just really put it out there. Take the pictures, because it's just pictures. So pictures mean a lot to people. They want to be able to see it. If the artwork is, say, in a room in the house or whatever, do a small video of the artwork, and then, again, ask the question, or do you know any place in Cincinnati that would want to take my artwork? And it'll be retweeted, it'll be shared, and next thing you know, somebody in Cincinnati will respond, oh, I know an artist or an art gallery. It's very nice and simple with artists. It's just really putting your work out there. And I know that people don't want to have their work copied or stolen or anything like that. So it's just making sure that your information is watermarked, and any pictures that you share have your name on there, so that if it comes back, you'll know that this is your artwork. Someone didn't steal it and then try to sell it as their own.
That's a really, I think that's a really good point, that, to watermark your images, because I do know artists, photographers, anyone with images, that is one of their biggest fears, obviously, is that someone's going to download that and steal it. I even have heard like coloring book artists, where their art people will take it and then either sell it or give it away free, when they're trying to use their art for marketing. But I think everything that you've shared today, and like you said, you started out helping business people, and then naturally the authors and bloggers were attracted to you, and so you helped them. But everything that you've shared today, I think, is all 100% transferable almost to any type of business in the use of social media, because like you said, people, they love to watch videos, they want to get to know you. And Twitter, I'm always fascinated because I'm not a big Twitter user. However, these interviews are a good example. I share my interviews on Twitter, and I actually have picked up some pretty heavy hitter followers. I'll get the little notification and I'll go, whoa, and I'll go look at their bio, and these people have thousands, and sometimes I've had a couple of people who have like a million followers, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty phenomenal. And that's just because I shared what I was doing anyway. And it wasn't like I was deliberately going, oh, I'm going to focus on Twitter. It was more like, okay, send the links out for my interviews into my Twitter, and then people will find it. And I also get a lot of shares. And that, of course, grows. And LinkedIn is another one that a lot of people sometimes are a little bit afraid of because they don't quite understand how it works. But LinkedIn is another one where if you share your links to your videos or your periscopes, people do respond and watch those. And again, I get a lot of people who will watch my interviews or listen to them and, end up sending me notes and things in the personal message boxes in LinkedIn. So you said it early on, you don't have to do everything, but choose something that you're attracted to, that you think that you could feel comfortable doing consistently. So I think that you really hit the nail on the head about, just do it and do something.
Right,
be
exactly.
consistent and share what you know. And I really liked your idea about whenever you start any of these things, the Facebook Live or Periscope, that you do the preliminary intro video about who you are. And I also liked the fact that you told us that not only can you use your smartphone, but you could use a tablet. And I do know that with Facebook Live, there is a special piece of software that you can get so you could actually do Facebook Live from your laptop. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but I know there is some software, but I'm not sure about the Periscope, if you can do the Periscope. Question about Periscope. At one point, there was another service that you had to use to get your periscopes to save longer than 24 hours. Have they changed that? Or how do you get your periscopes to last longer than 24 hours?
Actually, the service that they did have before that was connected with it, it was like in beta testing, and they didn't get any funding, so it's no more. But what Facebook did is they went back and they revamped the site, the app, I guess I should say, and now it saves without you having to do anything. The only thing is if you are new and you're just now downloading Periscope, it's automatically going to do it. But if you've been on Periscope, say, for the last 6 or 9 months and you haven't updated your app, then you just need to update your app on your phone. And that's important so that you don't have to worry about if your video is going to save. You just definitely need to make sure that it's updated. And I know that some people, they don't like to update their apps on their phone, and you'll see all the notifications that they need to update it because it's a new, version. But that's all you need to do for Periscope. Just make sure you have an updated version of the Periscope app, and you're good to go, and it'll save.
Oh, great.
No hashtags needed.
That's really cool, because I think that may have been a reason why some people were not using Periscope, because like Snapchat is a good example. It is designed not to last a long time.
Right.
And and some marketers say that's a good thing, because then people will actually consume your information within a shorter period of time. So I think there are probably pros and cons to all of this. Well, I really, really have enjoyed our conversation, because I think that you've opened my eyes to a lot of things that maybe I haven't done, just because I have these preconceived notions about difficulty. But I actually have a smartphone, I have an iPad, and I even have a selfie stick. So it isn't like I would have to hold my phone, at arm's length, because that's one of the things for me. Whenever I try to do selfies, I always end up, how you're looking up your nose, and that's not the best look for most of us. But I think a selfie stick, you can adjust it, and once you've done it a while, you probably can get that proper angle so that you look fine. Because I have seen many Facebook Lives and Periscopes, and people look great, and I've seen some phenomenal, I've heard phenomenal stories also. So I'm looking forward to the social media book that you're going to be participating in. So, Shequita, can you tell me how we can find out more about you and your services?
Yes. So you can go to my website, and it's www.authorshekitalee.com. And if you wanted to follow me on Periscope, my handle is Shequita Lee, and I am the same on Periscope and Twitter. And on my Facebook page, I am under Author Shequita Lee. Very easy to find me somewhere under Shequita Lee.
Great. Well, you know what? I didn't even ask you about your traveling. I guess I'm going to have to invite you back, and we'll talk about travel and how to get unstuck. But I really think that what we talked about today was something important that authors really need to know about, because you need to get out from behind the computer and out from behind the veil or the curtain and talk to people. And this is a lesson. I've been doing social media marketing since 2009, so it's been a few years. And that is a lesson that many, many people, it's hard for them to learn. Right. They're a little bit afraid to really let people see them. They don't like the way they sound. They don't like the way they look. They're too fat, too thin, too. But the reality is we are whoever we are, and we need to let our light shine. And like that is one of the things that you talk about too, is getting unstuck, stepping out of the box, and moving forward. So everyone, definitely go check out Shequita Lee and check out her Periscopes and her website and find out more about her. And Shequita, I will invite you back to talk about the travel aspects, because that is actually something that I'm also interested in. I just got my passport about last year, so I'm ready. I am now prepared to travel, and I figure I can go anywhere because I've got a passport. So I'm prepared for that. So I'm going to invite you back, and everyone check out Shequita Lee. Thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge about Facebook Live and Periscope. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
This is Tami Patzer. Go make it a great day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tami Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.